Berkeley County's Mount Holly Aluminum Smelter is taking on a major expansion, allowing it to produce more than 10% of the nation's aluminum. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held to mark the milestone at the facility today. Live 5's Hannah Borkert was there and talked with Century Aluminum CEO and other state leaders about what this means for our local economy.
CEO Jesse Gary says that Century Aluminum is ushering in a new golden age for American aluminum production. Here at Mount Holly, the expansion will increase production by 25% in South Carolina.
There you go.
Mount Holly has a huge impact on both Berkeley County and the state, with the smelter generating about $1 billion of annual economic impact, according to Gary. He says the Section 232 national security tariff on aluminum has allowed Century Aluminum to ramp up domestic production.
Trade policy has reversed decades of unfair imports from our foreign adversaries like in China and Canada, where they've dumped aluminum into this country. And the Trump trade policies have stopped that and allowed us to invest again.
The U.S. aluminum industry faced enormous challenges because these foreign countries flooded our market with unfair, subsidized aluminum.
The expansion brings 150 new jobs to Berkeley County. The jobs range from engineers to entry-level positions with an average wage and benefit package of over $125,000. Alongside growing production and workforce comes concerns for growing emissions. In 2023, the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services fined the manufacturer hundreds of thousands of dollars for failing multiple emissions tests.
Part of the investment we're making here today is to ensure that never happens again. So we're quite confident that we fix that issue and won't be a problem for the community.
Adding Century Aluminum is dedicated to making sure those issues don't repeat. The plant has improved scrubbing systems and other equipment to improve stability of operations.
American production and American aluminum production is back.
In the last 2 decades, more than a dozen U.S. smelters have closed their doors, with only 4 aluminum producers left in America currently.
Today's actions are just the beginning. The future of America's aluminum industry is bright.
Later this year, Century Aluminum plans to break ground on the first new domestic aluminum smelter in nearly 50 years in Oklahoma, which will more than double U.S. aluminum production. Reporting in Berkeley County, Hannah Borkert, Live 5 News.